It's still morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm President Tom Blaylock, President of the Bart Board, and for this year, and it's been an interesting year, very serious year, lots of issues on the table for us. After the tragic event in January, I quickly appointed a select committee of board members who could try to establish a police oversight committee, and I appointed then Director Carol Ward Allen as chair, because the unfortunate shooting happened in her district, and she chaired it. Director Joel Keller was assigned. He's a former police officer, and so he brought that aspect to it. Tom Radulovich and Lynette Sweet, both from San Francisco, and I brought those folks all together so they could establish that committee, and they have been working diligently all year to meet the goals that we had set for them in getting a civilian oversight committee together. I think they've done an outstanding job, and as you saw, a unanimous vote today to move the measure forward to Sacramento. We're very pleased to do that. And I'd like to introduce then Carol Ward Allen, who deserves a great debt of gratitude from all of us. Carol.
Thank you. Thank you very much, President Blaylock, and I want to always acknowledge the Oscar Grant family. This tragedy happened, as you know, in January, and our committee was set up. And to me, this is a very personal tragedy because it happened at the Fruitvale station, of which which is in my district, and I happen to live in that district. And so it has touched me and moved me to see this action take place in our district, and now it's coming to resolution at this time. Today we mark a major milestone in our efforts to make the Bart Police Department better and the best that it can be. And for months now we've been holding meetings. We've had many community meetings where we've had an opportunity to hear what the citizens had to say. We have listened to them, and we've worked with them on this committee and to formulate this plan. We certainly know that they had a lot to say, and we certainly listened to them. But one of the suggestions we heard over and over again was that the people want to have a stronger voice when it comes to investigating allegations of police misconduct. That's why we're committed early on to have this Oversight Police Committee. This process is truly organic. It's a hybrid model. It's not a perfect model. We hope that but we know it's a living model. And if we have to make changes, we will do so. If we have to make modifications, some of the changes may be that we throw out some things, and we may have to add some things. I want to thank all of our committee that have worked so hard on all of this, and what a beautiful day. The sun is shining, and it's shining because this action is taking place today. Thank you so very much. At this point, let me please forgive me for walking away, but come forth our president, our co-chair of the committee, Director Keller. Is that who you are?
That's who I am. That's who I am at the moment. Thank you, and I just want to thank President Blaylock for his leadership in appointing the committee, and certainly Chair Ward Allen for the leadership she's provided. Director Radulovich and Sweet have both put their hearts and souls into this creation of an oversight model for the Bart Police Department, and I think we've come up with something that makes sense for the community, makes sense for the department, and makes sense for us moving forward to ensure that tragedies like that occurred on January 1st don't happen again. And if they do happen again, we have a process that will allow us to thoroughly investigate and ensure that justice is arrived at and get to the facts as quickly as possible. I am a lifelong peace officer, having been a police officer and a probation officer for most of my professional career. I don't think police have anything to fear from civilian oversight. I think good cops will get it, that it's just another layer of protection for them as they go about their business on a day-to-day activity, which is a very difficult job, ensuring that justice is met and ensuring the rights of individuals are protected. So I think this is a good day for Bart. The ball is now in the legislator's court. We can't do what we've voted on today without a bill coming out of the legislature. We're hopeful that the state legislature will respond in a timely fashion, giving us the opportunity to move forward with this model this year. I think if this is put over to next year, it will be a real misjustice because the community expects us to do something. We want to do something. We've demonstrated by a unanimous vote that we're committed to this. And as we move forward, I think the BART Police Department will be a better agency. BART will be more respected in the community, and this was a good activity. And again, I want to thank the two people I think who went the furthest out on the line to ensure that this happened, Director Radulovich and Director Sweet, who continued to focus on this in the midst of a lot of legitimate competing interests. There isn't a single interest that has driven this. There are competing interests, both legitimate law enforcement interests, legitimate community interests, and I think a balance has been struck that will work for this district as this hybrid model hopefully gets adopted and we get the permissive legislation required to allow us to move forward. Thank you. I think I go to Lynette Sweet. Director Sweet, sorry.
Good morning. I am Lynette Sweet, and I want to just tell you right out that Oscar Grant's tragic death on January 1st became that teachable moment for us here at BART. That teachable moment in the sense that something that was long overdue here, a civilian oversight committee for our police department, had been thought about, but now it has a chance to be put in place. I can't emphasize more how much this means to me that we're going to be able to do this if the legislature can give us that enabling language to allow BART to have this civilian oversight. We're there, and we're committed, and we want to make sure that what happened on January 1st, from the perspective of this director and my colleagues, doesn't come back to us the same way ever again. Civilian oversight not only is important for us, I think it's probably important for every law enforcement agency out there. As Director Keller stated, good police officers have nothing to fear from civilian oversight. And from my perspective, we are long overdue with it. I'm glad we're there today. Please, in whatever you do, make sure that you understand that we've done our part. It's now up to the Sacramento folks, the legislators, to give us the language we need to change the Bart Act to make this a reality. So again, thank you all, and thank my colleagues for making this a unanimous vote. And I'd like to now turn this over to a director who has really done a lot of work with us on this, and Director Tom Radulovich, colleague from San Francisco.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Sweet, and thanks to my colleagues, and thank you all for coming out today. I just want to say I've been a long-time advocate of civilian review of policing here at BART, and today is a really great day for me. We've taken a quantum leap forward in terms of creating a police force that is going to be more accountable, much more transparent in what they do. And I have every confidence that this is really going to improve policing at BART. I've learned a terrific amount about policing here at BART in this year, because in the aftermath of the Oscar Grant shooting, we've not only looked at what happened that night on that platform, we have looked at every aspect of policing at BART. We're looking at policies and procedures, we're looking at practices, we're looking at hiring, we're looking at everything. We're setting up this civilian review. So it has really been an incredible change in terms of the way we're approaching policing here. Now, as you know, a bill was introduced to sort of say, all right, well, BART, here's your police review model. Many of us went up to Sacramento, talked to our legislative delegation, and said, all right, give us a chance. We have not set up a civilian review board to date. Give us a chance to do something that is good, that is transparent, that's accountable, that's strong. Let us work with the community on an inclusive process, hear all of their concerns. Let us work with our police officers, make sure that they're concerned. And they've come to me and said, you know, we think we're doing a good job. We know we could be doing a better job. You know, we know we could be better trained. We know we could be better equipped, et cetera. So let us take all that input, create some body that's going to serve as a sounding board for that. It's going to do two things. One is it's going to do independent investigations of specific incidents of misconduct. So the community can be reassured that if something happens, there's this independent body that's going to do their own investigation, and an independent citizen board that's going to review those recommendations. The other thing it's going to do is be very forward-looking. And this maybe is a little different from some of the other models that are out there. We really wanted a body that was going to continually improve policing here, be that sounding board, and be really preventive, make sure nothing like this ever happens again to the best that we can, but also make sure that the police officers, and this is the vast majority of them, that are there to do a good job, have all the support that they need in order to do the job that they need to do. They're putting their lives on the line every day, and this has got to improve policing. So I think this unanimous vote today is really important. It's now on the legislature. The Bart Act is a state law. Our hands are bound in a lot of ways. We've asked for a bill that is permissive, that says, let us implement this model, but let us do it in a way that we can continue to respond to how this model's working. We can change things. We don't need to come back to the legislature every year, but we can let the people's elected representatives here, working with the community, continue to adjust this to make it the strongest model it can. We've asked for that legislation, 2 changes to the Bart Act, and today we're calling on our state legislative delegation who said, Bart, we want to see what you've come up with. Well, we've come up with it. It's a great model. We need their help to implement it. We've got 4 weeks left in the session. We know it's a big stretch for them, but I think the community demands it. And we as BART board directors are demanding it. We need this change in order to put forward all the good work that we've done over this year and get this model moving. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there questions remaining on this issue?
What's the feeling about, we talked about a little bit in the boardroom, but about discipline chosen by elected officials? We're talking about a mob of people out there who might be influencing your decisions.
I made the comment, and my concern has been that I've been advised that if you have the elected representatives informed of all the details that are within the area of the police officer's Bill of Rights, that it could taint any discipline that would be meted out. And my own feeling is I'd prefer to see us be able to be sure that that can happen, the discipline can happen without it being tainted. That's my biggest concern, and I don't know any answers for that yet, but I'm waiting. Okay?
But that's not set in stone at this point.
What's that?
It's not set in stone that there will be a vote.
No, because this would be, I think Tom Radulovich mentioned, this is an enabling legislation. It's permissive legislation, it's not mandatory. Okay. So they would allow us to make the choice. So that's a choice we'd make after they put in, change the Bart Act for us.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Yes. Oh, okay. Quick question. We need to go back inside.
As you head into closed session, what are the options you're considering in dealing with this one last remaining union to get this done?
I don't know. We haven't had any discussion on it. I think Linton indicated we aren't going to get into the labor issue because we don't know anything new yet.
No, but there are options to do nothing.
Yeah, well, I need
to go back to the Bart now.
I need to go in there and find out what the options are. I think everyone here knows the ones we've talked about.
And just for your schedule, you're going to have your closed session, and then if there's any action,
and
you'll
we'll come out
and
yes.
vote or talk about it.
Yes. We have a whole separate agenda,
yeah.
special agenda.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.